FIFA House in Zurich can be a very busy place. It hosts all sorts of meetings on every aspect of the game, and frequently the great and good of football, past and present, are asked to contribute their knowledge. George Weah, perhaps the best player ever to emerge from Africa, is one of 24 members of the Football Committee. He's been retired from playing for a decade now. So what's he been up to outside the sport?
I went back to school, and I had able to obtain a bachelor degree in business, and I just finished a master of public administration, and I'm back home working. I'm the current peace ambassador of the Republic of Liberia, and also the political leader of the Democratic Congress for Democratic Change. So this is what I'm doing. This is where we are.
It's very hard to understate just how important the example of George Weah is to Liberia. This is a small nation that suffered grotesquely through decades of war, yet it managed to produce a player so gifted that he collected some of the sport's greatest honours. His achievements gave Liberians a chance to dream.
Right after my career, then my people brought me into politics, and then I found the Congress for Democratic Change, the biggest opposition party in Liberia, and I'm the leader. And I won two elections with my party, and I'm staying in politics, and I'll be running for the Senate of Monrovia this coming 2014 elections.
Some of Liberia's problems are rooted in the fact that there are around 16 indigenous ethnic groups in a population of less than 4 million. Weah himself is Kru, like 7% of his countrymen. The work of Weah and all Liberian politicians is to come together to pull their country out of the trouble into which it's fallen.
I want to see change in my country because I lived a life before that was not a life that any child should live. And I think that there's no reason to live that life. There should be social justice. Government should care for its people, and I think everybody has the right to be in their country. Not wealthy, but be able to afford something to take their child to school, take their child to hospital, and these are some of the reasons that I'm in politics, to fight for my people, to bring about a change that each and every Liberian, will be able to afford the basic social necessity of life.
The height of Weah's career came in the mid to late 90s, just as his nation was at its lowest ebb. With domestic football barely functional, Weah virtually ran the national team himself. It was seemingly the only institution in the country that worked, and his squad came within a whisker of qualifying for the 2002 FIFA World Cup.
I took on that responsibility to make sure that the national team would represent the country and portray a positive image for the well-being of our state. So that I sponsored the team, and luckily for us, that the people of Liberia, respected the fact that we were bringing back peace to our country through sports, and they help us a lot. Whenever there's game, they war in fashion, they start fighting, and they watch the game.
Liberia spent years being torn apart by civil war. It had a profound influence on Weah, who grew up in the slums of the capital Monrovia. What he and the few other Liberian professionals witnessed gave them a sense of duty towards their nation.
And that helped us to grow in our professional life. Because during war, we are devastated. We go to the games. The fact that we had a national team to go back to see our people, to go to the refugee camps to help our people, it helped us to grow in our professional life.
Having been part of world football for so many years, and having been so successful in the world's favourite sport, Weah knows that it can be a force for good. It can also be a force for progress. Now that it's a globalised sport, both problems and their solutions can cross borders.
I love to see football develop in every aspect of life, every aspect of the world, both Africa and the world. I grew up in Europe, I see how organized they are, Europeans, and I want that to happen in Africa. We see how people are being exploited in Africa. We want to stop that through the football community. We want every rules that is flexible, that make European soccer better, we want that to happen to Africa.
His was a remarkable career, and as a proud African, Weah is delighted that the last FIFA World Cup took place in his continent. The game of football is now 150 years old and has spread far beyond its British origins. It's the world game, and that, according to Weah, means it's the world's to share.
Football is global, and the World Cup means the World Cup. So if Europe experience, South American experience, Latin American experience, and the Africa experience the World Cup, of course, Asia must experience the World Cup, and the Caribbean must experience the World Cup. This is why they call it the World Cup. So that I hope that the World Cup will be hosted in Qatar, and no matter what happens in Qatar, I think they have the capability, they have the strength to host a very good World Cup.